लोगों का मतलब स्लोली आना धीरे से।
लेकिन सर तो बोल रहे थे 30-35 मिनट से, मतलब आधा घंटे से 40 मिनट का है, बस उतना ही है।
हाँ ठीक है। सो वेलकम टू ऑल ऑफ यू फॉर दिस सर जेसी बोस मेमोरियल लेक्चर. And this memorial lecture IET organized everywhere in the memory of Sir J.C. Bose, who started first time microwave engineering in India. So I welcome all of you. Today we have a very eminent research scholar, Dr. Ravi Pratap Singh Kushwaha. He is India head of S antenna system. I request Dr. Pooja Sahu to please introduce Dr. Ravi Pratap Singh Kushwaha. Dr. Pooja Sahu, please.
Thank you, sir. Sir, am I audible?
Yes, ma'am,
Yes.
audible.
Okay. Uh, Good evening, all. I, Deepa Sahu, Assistant Professor, MITS Gwalior, on behalf of the Institution of Electronics and Telecommunication Engineering, Bhopal, Center Bhopal, India, welcome you all. Today, our Ravi Pratap Singh Kushwaha, Principal Manager, AC India, AC Antenna India Private Limited, Hyderabad, will deliver a knowledge on mechanical aspects of base and station antenna. So, let you, sir, about the sir. PhD in design and development of microwave bootless lens for multiple beam forming from Rajiv Gandhi Bhopal. Doctorate in advancement of base station antenna in Korea. He has been awarded CEO Award by Anya Technology in 2008 and Innovator of the Year by SERMA in 2000. Sir has published more than 50 international research articles, and Sir research areas are of antenna for microwave and VSAT base station antenna RFID applications. So now I request to sir kindly share your valuable knowledge with us. Welcome you, sir.
Hello, all of you. So today I'm covering that mechanical aspects of the base station antenna. Before starting this presentation, I need to give a little bit brief why these mechanical aspects need to understand for an antenna designer or for making the antenna. So before starting, we need to understand two things. One is basically the design procedure and how to make the antenna, and second one is the construction of the antenna. So in basic design of the antenna, first what we are doing in our company, or what any antenna designer is doing, first we need to make some we receive the query from the customer, and according to the query we need to do some calculation or estimation, or we can say simple white paper design. Once the estimation or calculation is fulfill the customer requirement, then we will proceed to make some initial specifications, and after that we will do the start simulation activity of for making the antenna. And once the some results is coming, like some fruitful result is coming, then we will go for the proto samples, and after that we will receive from fabricator, or we will do the fabrication. Then after we will check the performance is divided in two criteria. Basically we need to check the basic parameters like return loss, VSWR, isolation, port to port isolation, beam to beam isolation, so many different parameters. And yes, passive intermodulation distortion we need to check. And second thing, we need to check the radiation pattern performance. So this is one iteration that we are doing. If the results is not coming, then we need to repeat the things, again we need to go in simulation and doing the things. So this is the some simple design procedure everyone is using like that. And second thing is, need to understand before starting this presentation the construction of the antenna. I'm taking the example of the construction of base station antenna instead of other antenna, because I have expertise in the base station antenna. So in base station antenna architecture point of view, initially our RF input is coming to the connector, and connector input is further going to the coaxial cable, and this coaxial cable feed a phase shifter where we need pattern multiplication concept we need to use. So some phase shifter we need to use. That phase shifter is basically a PCB, and after that this phase shifter is give one is to whatever we have required, 5 output, 6 output, 10 output. So split the power like a simple power divider along with the phase shift, and after that this will go to the power divider through the coaxial cable, and after that we will energize or excite the elements. So this is the normal architecture of the uh, base station antenna, or we can say the phased array antenna, or or simply we can say array antenna. So these two things basically is showing the more of the work related to the electrical engineer, or we can say the electrical aspects, the things of how to design the antenna and how to fabricate the things. So simply we can say antenna around 80-85% related to the electrical engineering or electrical parameters, and 15 to 20% is related to the mechanical engineer or mechanical engineering. So in this aspects, very few portions are covering mechanical engineer, but that is very important section, because the construction and how to produce the antenna, what things we need to take care, and yeah, bulk production and open environment condition. So many different things mechanical engineer need to take care while designing the basic format of the this base station antenna. So now come to my presentation. What things need to be take care while making the antenna. So I divide my presentation in two parts. One is open environment testing or open environment part, which is related to the antenna and how to select. And second section is the inner structure of the antenna. So as we all know, the open environment parts like connector, after that some radome, and top side of radome or bottom side of radome some plastic cover, and back side we need some mounting structure. So this is the open environment part. In a structure point of view, we have already discussed the architecture of the antenna. So I'm taking one by one how we need to take care while making the antenna. Mechanical aspects point of view, electrical engineer need to understand the mechanical aspects of the antenna, because most of the things take care while developing the antenna. So initial, this is in my screen, this is the simple antenna picture. So if you see, this is the radome section, and this is top cover plastic, this is bottom cover plastic, and this is connector. So main thing is radome. Radome, we can say simply electrical point of view, is a transparent, electromagnetically transparent shield, which is protecting our inner structure and give the strength to survive the antenna in external environment like rain, sunlight, and other atmospheric conditions like wind load and other things. So in electrical point of view, while designing, we need to take care of two parameters for selecting the radome. One is the dielectric constant, and second one is the loss tangent. So these two parameters we need to feed while we are simulating the antenna or inner structure, so that we can understand the normal behavior of the antenna, how this radome is transparent or not for the electromagnetic energies. So dielectric constant point of view, if it is the value is very much high, then there is a reflection, or we can say refraction, we need to face, and maybe because of this, our antenna pattern shape will be distorted, or we can say corrupted. So this thing we need to take care. Normally in industry nowadays, what we are taking the dielectric constant for the radome is around 2.5 to 4. So this is the range that we need to select the radome. As much as less is good. So next thing is the wall thickness of the radome. So wall thickness of the radome, obviously it is the integer multiple of the wavelength what we are designing, our specific frequency. We need to take care of the integer multiple of the wavelength, and so that our this radome work properly, like nearly transparent. Second thing is inside structure, we are taking the array of the elements. So radome elements gap, radome elements inner surface of the radome, and element gap is the effective role or major role play while designing. Because if this distance has changed, then our parameters will disturb, and we are not getting the desired performance. Basically, return loss and isolation got disturbed in this case. So we need to maintain radome and element spacing in between. Yeah. Second thing is now come to the material point of view. As we all know, once the antenna is ready and it will go for the installation, and it will survive in the open environment, not for 1 day, 1 week, 1 month. Normally the antenna we are making for the 5 years minimum duration, and maximum around 20 years, 25 years it will in the open environment. So the plastic selection is a very important thing. Normally the plastic while designing the basic radome, we are taking care of the PVC material, FRP material, polycarbonate, ASA PC. This is the special type of plastic, which is the composite type of plastic. ASA PC means this is two-layered radome. So why we are taking two-layer? This will come in the next slide. Last point in radome, we need to take care of glass content, because we know the basic plastic is very flexible, and it is not giving the proper strength. So we need to put some glass impurity in plastic material, so the strength will come, and the open environment survivability is will improve. So we need to take some glass content, but this should be in some limit. It will not too much, otherwise glass reflection will create the problem, and pattern maybe the pattern will disturb. So environmental testing point of view, two things need to take care in the radome. One is UV protection, UV weatherization or UV protection. Ultraviolet rays will not harm to our antenna or our plastic of the radome. And second one is the wind survivability. That is very important parameter, because why normally base station antenna, or we can say big antenna, we are putting on the height, and this height is 20 meter, starting from the 20 meters to 40 meter, 50 meter. So in that much of height, the wind speed is too much. Even I go initial trial, I'm going to the some site, and I'm going to the tower top. So towers looks like little bit shaking due to the wind. So this much of vibration will come inside the radome or our inner structure. So the survivability point of view, that should be with resistance with the wind load. So the parameter has decided for this antenna will survive up to 240 kilometer per hour wind speed. So wind load point of view, normally antenna looks like that, but as I mentioned, if we will go the different type of radome, like circular radome, definitely wind load will reduce in circular type or different type of shapes. But maintaining the element to radome gap that is very important. In the circular format, it's difficult to maintain because of the arc. Like architecture is like circular, the radome. So normally base station in a company is preferring rectangular type of radome, so that the element and radome gap easily we can maintain. So if you see this picture, the wind load is coming in the three direction: rear direction, front, and side. So these three direction wind load will affect the inner structure and changing the performance of the our antenna. So these other pictures I will take in the next slides. So analysis point of view, how to do the wind load analysis, mechanical engineer need to do some tunnel testing, or in a simulation point of view, they are checking the performance in the SolidWorks software. But practically, simple words we can use, whatever the testing we are doing for the small helicopters, because the wind load point of view, we need to make this some aerodynamics design. The aerodynamics just we need to using, because just we need to reduce the wind loading. So instead of this radome shape, if we take this type of radome shape, around 20% of wind load will reduce, because we have taken the corner round, side taper, and corner is also this is also a round shape. So wind load easily we can reduce up to 20%, not more than this, but we can do. This is the simulation point of view. If we will go the testing, aerodynamics testing, we need to go some aerodynamics company where they are using the helicopter and others testing. They need to survive in the high wind. So that organization will do such type of testing. So this test will take a long time, because this type of company is very less in our India. Now come to the radome selection material. Radome selection material, as I mentioned in my first slide, we are choosing the material ASA PC, UPVC, FRP, and normal PVC. ABS material is also using few company, but that is not surviving long duration. If antenna is indoor antenna, then we can use ABS material also. But if we are talking about the outdoor antenna, then these are the preferred material which normally companies are using. So this is the simple chart that we can understand. So any of the material we can choose, depends upon the requirement. But take a few points we need to see here. In base material, if we are using FRP, means fiber reinforced plastic, like the glass content is more, so it's a heavy material, and the appearance point of view, it is not good. The negative point is with this because of glass content, the performance is not coming very good as an antenna design. But normally customer is asking FRP material radome, because the survival in the open environment is very good due to the glass content. So this is the most preferable material in the India or abroad, FRP. But the antenna designer point of view, it is too much complicated. So one new material introduced by our company, like ASA PC. So this is the two layer material. We can say the radome is in two layer. One is ASA and second one is PC. ASA is good for the weatherproofness. So we are taking outside layer of this ASA material, and PC we are using inside. So this is the good alternative of the FRP material or any other material. So electrical performance point of view, all are good. But we need to choose which one we have required, because this FRP radome is too much heavy. And as we already discussed, the wind loading is too much high as the top of the tower. So we need to use light material, so that our antenna can, the mounting can easily we can do on that height. Yes. Next point is the material point of we have understand. Now come to the two major material, FRP and ASA PC, and we are understand the basic parameter. So two three things we need to remember here. This FRP is we need to make the with the pultrusion method, and this ASA PC will we need to make the extrusion. So extrusion tools is required. So it is a too costly material for too costly tool for antenna design point of view. And this is pultrusion. Pultrusion means the some rotating type, rolling type of system is there, and some resin mixed fiber need to circulate on the circumference of this round tool. So these are the two methods. The negative point with the FRP material is work because of glass content, the decomposition of this material is very less over the time period. So the open like environmental condition point of view, it is too bad because it's harmful for the human, because the decomposition is very the decomposition rate is very less, and due to glass content this the like we can say we will not recycle this material, but any other plastic, ASA PC, others we can recycle. So these are the few criteria based on that we can select the radome. So here I mentioned the eco-friendly things and other things with the different materials. Now come to the flammability. This is one of the criteria that we need to take care while selecting the radome. In this aspects, basically in passive antenna, there is no major issue of flammability testing is required, but some active antennas is required this flammability test. In this test, just a few seconds, fumes that high burner flames will come, and we need to test the radome. It will survive in 30 seconds or 1 minute if the flames will come. So the friction and other issue will not damage the our antenna or outside plastic of the antenna. Now these so I mentioned so many things in this presentation. So worldwide environment test worldwide what parameters we need to test for open environment point of view, that is formed in the IEC form IEC standards. So we that IEC standards, what is the humidity, low temperature, high temperature, and wind loading. So all the parameters, what specification we need to take care, that IEC has defined. So humidity point of view, it is a 95% survival required while testing or while lab testing. And low temperature, high temperature, as I shown in my screen, you can see this table: 40 degrees centigrade, 80 degrees centigrade, 12 hours. Wind loading, I mentioned, this is the wind loading formula that we need to take care or we need this is something empirical type of formula that developed by the IEC or IEC standard organization. And after that, the vibration test, shock test, drop test, rent test, and salt mist test. These are the other testing that we need to do for the antenna for checking the open environment survivability for 5 year or 10 year. Means in that condition, if we will test the our antenna, we can think it will survive into the long duration. So these are the few standards. Now come to the clamp selection. Means simply we can say mount. This is also a one open environment parts which we need to take care, and this will also we need to take care the lightweight material and high tensile strength and cost effective solution for the customer point of view. And a few tests we need to do with this also: salt fog corrosion test, wind load test, vibration in shock set, installation test, and weatherization testing. So these all are testing we need to take from some outside agencies, or or send the antenna to our headquarter. In that place, all the labs are there, and they are testing in this IEC standard conditions. One simple setup we have also prepared for testing the clamp. As we see, this clamp is looks like if we need to move our antenna downward direction mechanically, not electrically, mechanically. So means once we need to fix this mechanical tilt, it will not go beyond the tilt. So this type of testing, weight testing, we are doing with checking the mechanical tilt or mechanical tilt fixation with the mount. So this is the test setup, simple test setup. And these are the few mount and antennas fixed. This is something circular type of radomes. So if you see in this inside of this antenna, only 2 sectors we are covering. Third sectors we can't cover, because backside is metallic structure. Our mounting pipes will come. So only 2 sectors we can cover with this cylindrical type of antenna. So these are the outside environment part that we need to take care how it is survive, and our antenna will give the good performance in the long duration. Now we go inside. So before going to inside, we need to understand a little bit one important parameter, which is passive intermodulation. Normally we can say PIMD. So it's a newly introduced parameter which around 2005 it is introduced in the industries, like as a specification. Before that, nobody knows what is this parameter, how it is affecting the performance. So now come to my initial starting presentation. I have mentioned the construction of the antenna, how we are feeding the RF power from the input, and it will go in the open environment as a electromagnetic radiation. So all the parts I have just give the brief idea. So in that point of view, we can understand inside radome there is inner structure of the antenna, and so many things we are using. We are using coaxial cables, we are using a different PCB for feeding the networks, we are using dipoles inside, and we are using reflector, we are using some isolation chokes. So many metals are there. So basically our antenna is working on one particular frequency, but there is lot of metallic environment inside. So maybe our antenna sometimes resonates some more frequencies. So that frequencies, that undesired frequency signal, we need to suppress. Otherwise, this will disturb the performance of our actual signal. So this type of passive intermodulation we need to take care. So how it is coming means current increase linearly with the applied voltage, then it's okay. The high pressure metal to metal contact, welding, or we can say the something soldering point of view, all those things will related to the generate the non-linear behavior of the our this current and voltage waveform. So how we need to take care of this PIMD or passive intermodulation? Simply we can understand, our antenna need to work our desired frequency band. If some frequency is new and that will affecting our antenna performance, that we need to reduce. So now come to the passive intermodulation point of view. We need to identify the source, why this PIM has happening, and how it is impacting our signal, and cause of PIM, and a solution. So internally, if we see the inside antenna, the components, we need to make the components in a single part. If we are using many parts, if we are using many transitions, if we are using many soldering points, then it will create the new frequencies, new harmonics, which will affect the performance. So second point is improper soldering. We need to do the soldering proper. Sometimes we need to do double or 2 times or 3 times soldering, so that we need to see there is no porous or holes type of things in our soldering. Third thing is loose connections. Wherever we are using the transition, like in between the coaxial cable and the PCBs, so we need to take care the loose connection will affect our antenna performance. Externally, if we see the mounting brackets, which is connected with our inside reflector, which is pulling the reflector to the near to the pipe or mounting, so that clamp should be good condition, means rust or white rust, we can say, the water or environment, due to environment, that white rust should be not come on the top of the mounting. Or we can say we are using some layer on the mounting so that it will not rusty. The layer is maybe the galvanized iron, GI, we can use as a coating of that bracket. Second thing is any object if it is coming in front of the antenna, like in tower there is so many antennas we need to mount. So some antennas, some other telecom operators antenna is coming in front of the our DUT, or we can say some pipe or some other metallic structure is coming in front of the antenna. So that will also one of the external cause of the PIMD. And third one is the connectors. As you know, our main power is coming through the connector. So if it is not properly tightened, maybe the cause or maybe the some undesired frequencies will generate our antenna. So what problematic things with this PIM is a noise floor will increase. If you see in this picture, high average noise level, this much of noise level will create the disturbance of our original signal. So we need to reduce this noise effect. Mobiles increase the power to the overcome. This is noise and power relation, as we all know. This the power will increase, then the noise will also affecting the performance. Third thing is normally PIMD discussion or normally PIM we are discussing for the mainly uplink. Down uplink it will disturb because the new frequency will generate. Downlink is not a problem, too much problematic, but uplink is badly affected with the passive intermodulation. So, simply we can also relate PIM with the SINR value or SNR value. SINR is the normal field term. They are the drive test engineer using SINR. They don't know the exactly what is this. That is basically SNR or carrier to interference ratio. So these are the two parameters that is degraded. Because of this PIM, obvious service will affect it. So some cross talk points, some cross talk points will happen. How this crosstalk will happen? Our antenna, we are tuned some particular frequency band, and some more frequency will generate, and it will affect the inside band. Suppose if we are taking the 1710 to 2690 one frequency band, inside there is so many different bands are there. So if one higher order harmonics will generate and it will affect to the other bands, then that crosstalk possible. So these are the few bad impact due to the PIM. So as we have already discussed, the cause of the PIM: loose metal to metal contact, surface contaminant, or we can say if we are doing soldering, some splitters or some solder balls will affect the performance. Poor connections of the terminations, connectors, and improperly torqued connection. If our screw or fasteners is not properly tightened from some standard torque value, then the vibration or long duration survivability of the antenna will affect, or performance will deteriorate while the vibration will come. Next is the we need to take care of other antennas, nearby antennas, or metal object in front of the antenna. So these are the few things that we need to take care. So this looks like all the things related to our structure or our design of the antenna. So we can say we need to make the design like against the PIM or the design. Normally we need to take care some few points that is common for all the antennas. So high quality passive into components we need to use means every component should be fulfill some minimum criteria of the PIM. Normally the standard defined for this is around 150 dBc, which is the PIM value we need to achieve each component's level so the antenna will perform properly. So regular PIM audit is required while the production and while the NPI or if we are making some proto build, that is required. So next thing is inside, this is what we have discussed related to the PIM and how it is related with the PCB parts. So as I mentioned, there is two PCB parts mainly we are using in the base station in antenna. One is phase shifter, second one is power divider. So PCB point of view, for protecting the PIM, we need to take care non-linear traces resistance and dielectric properties, quality of copper, etching quality, dielectric composition. So these are the few parameters that I have mentioned in my slide. Main parameters like dielectric constant and loss tangent is also impacting the PIM. So whatever the new material will come or new lot will come, we need to check the PIM test. We need to check the PIM and see the behavior of the PIM because it will affect the performance of the antenna. How we need to do? We need to connect some input connectors in the PCB wherever the input are there, and we need to give the high power signal. But if we are using only one or two pieces of the PCB in the inner structure, then that high power may be burn your PCB or it will damage the PCB. So reason being, PIM we need to test mostly in the antenna level. But if we need to check PCB level, that is also possible with the low power. Normally we are using 43 dBm, but in case of only one or two PCB testing time, we need to give only 20 dBm, something like that. So these things we need to take care in proper soldering, as we have already discussed, metal to metal contact, punching direction. Yeah, this is related something our reflector design. So in reflector, as we know, there is so many slots we need to give for mounting our PCBs and dipoles. So the direction of the punching should be backside, means burr will come in the backside of the reflector. If it is in front side, means near to dipole, then it will affect our overall antenna performance and it will create a new harmonics of the frequencies. So this we need to take care while making the reflector fabrication. Next is material selection. Normally we are using inside antenna aluminum material, but aluminum is too costly, so sometimes we are using ALDC, aluminum die-casted, means some carbon impurity we can use in aluminum and we reduce the cost of the aluminum, but the behavior is the same, looks like, as the aluminum. So such type of material we can use for the fabrication of the dipoles and reflectors and the isolation chocks. So these things we need to take care. Next thing is the cable. So many cables inside running of the antenna. So we need to do proper routing because wherever the transition is there, we need to peel the outer jacket and it will generate the new harmonics of the frequency, or that ground plane or the inside shielding will generate the new frequency. So we need to take care of proper cable routing. So these are the few parameters that we need to take care while we are using the PCBs as well as coaxial cables. So I have taken one photographs from the antenna. In this antenna, if you see, these are the few, this is the back side of the antenna, this is the front side. So front side we can see this is the dipole. In this antenna, this is the our PCB dipole, and mostly we are using like aluminum or sheet metal or ALDC dipoles. But in this antenna, 5th generation, due to high frequency, normally we are using the PCBs. So this is the 5th generation basic antenna for a 65-degree C-band antenna. So this is the drawing, some type of this. So we are mounting the elements on this slots. So this is the actual reflector, and this is the fabrication. So reflector point of view, we can take the material aluminum, copper, brass, but copper and brass is too costly, so we need to take aluminum or ALDC, as I mentioned. Alloy we can't use because the instability, or we can say the understanding the properties, that is too difficult in the alloy point of view. Next thing is thermal resistance is required, like hardness, brittleness, like tough material is required. So we need to take this reflector sheet thickness around 2 mm or 2.5 mm, so that we can mount our elements, and it will not sag, it will not damage, it will not, basically we prevent the sagging. As I mentioned, we need to maintain the radon dipole gap, so sagging we need to prevent. So little bit hard aluminum we need to use. So we are using very good grade of the aluminum that is little bit hard compared to other available aluminiums. So this is the related to the aluminum things. Next is alternative of this is aluminum die casted. So we can use the process gravity die casting or injection molding, such type of process we can use, and we can make the dipole or the reflector with this aluminum die casted material also, which is carbon impurity based aluminum. So these are the basic selections of the reflectors. Now, ingress protection on point of view, there is two standard that we need to take care. One is the IEC standards, International Chemical or Electrotechnical Commissions has defined some IEC standard that we need to follow. As I already shared in my earlier sheets, what standard we need to take care for the which parts that we have already discussed. Second is IP ratings. So everyone, we all know the ingress protection is required, which is related to the survival condition of the antenna in the, especially in the moisture environment or near the coastal areas. There is too much moisture, so we need to take care of the IP ratings. So IP ratings point of view, normally in antenna, two IP ratings we are following. Inside premises or small antennas like IP67 we are following, and the open environment antenna, outdoor antenna, or big antennas or some radar antennas, and all those type of passive. Basically, I am talking about the only passive antennas because I have worked on the passive antennas. So in passive antenna point of view, only two IP ratings we need to take care: IP67 and IP55. So IP55, like that, if some moisture and some water comes inside the antenna, it will go out from the drainage hole of the antenna. Means in bottom plastic or bottom cover, we are giving some small hole that work for drainage holes for the water, and it is the construction like that. The outside water is not coming the inside. So this hole is the specific some mechanical designs. So these are the few things that we need to take care while making the antenna as a mechanical aspects. So IP ratings points of view, this is I have taken this all the standards from the Wikipedia. This is the understanding the IP rating, how IP67, what is IP55, we can understand here. So 67 means dust tight, no ingress of dust, complete protection against the contact dust. And 7 for the water ingress. This is the water ingress. So this we are normally following IP67, and few antennas we are following IP55. So these are the available material in the Google or the Wikipedia. So this is the IP ratings. So these mechanical aspects we need to take care while we are designing the base station antenna. So yeah, that is the responsibility of the mechanical engineer. They need to take care of the design. They need to make the inside antenna as a solid body so that the payment cause will not come, and that open environment our antenna can survive in the long duration. So but all the things is related with the electrical also, because there are so many parameters is affected this mechanical problem that will affect the antenna entire product like something. So almost more than 70 and 70 antennas we have developed in last 6 years. So open environment, or we can say the final production point of view, only 50 or 60% is the success rate. So definitely this mechanical aspects need to understand for every electrical and mechanical engineers which is related to the antenna design. So that's all in this discussion, basically in the mechanical aspects. So other things, if some question or related to the other technical things, you can ask me, so I will try to explain. Hello.
Thank you, sir. From the audience,
I don't know. I don't know the how much time this. But sir has told me the 45 minutes, so that I have summarized the things only that duration.
yes, sir. This is the presentation cover only in 45 minutes
Yes.
within the time. Now, participants, I request if you have any query, please ask directly to the sir. Anyone?
I will send this presentation copy to Single sir, and if someone interested, I need to remove this basically from company format. Normal, I need to make this presentation, and I will send to the sir.
The points to be endorsed in the graphical.
Sir, voice is not clear. I can't hear you. Hello.
Sir, actually, sir is in another meeting, I think.
No, I am here, Pooja Shao, very much, and I have seen the whole lecture, and it was a wonderful lecture containing the practical aspects. So, any questions from the participants?
Excuse me, sir.
Yeah, please.
Sir, a small question I want to ask.
Yeah, please.
Are there any change of the antenna parameter with radome or without radome? Suppose if I design one antenna without radome, so there are definite parameters for it. If I use the radome, is there any change of the antenna parameters?
Sir, you are using normally air dielectric, means your antenna is working like in air environment. If you are using any plastic in front of antenna, definitely gain degradation will come. So gain will reduce. It depends upon the dielectric constant of the material. Because you are designing antenna like in air, so that plastic dielectric material will increase the losses of the antenna, and gain will reduce. One thing. Second thing is, with radome or without radome, as I mentioned, the dipole radome gauge is playing the effective role for return loss and isolation. So that will disturb if you are putting the radome. Or you can do one thing, before putting the radome, if you increase the return loss and isolation little bit as compared to the requirement, or if you increase the gain, both the things you need to increase little bit, so that if you will put the radome, that will not affect the performance of your antenna, or still it will works in your requirement or specifications.
So is it a type of superstate you want to say as a radome?
Come again.
Is it a type of superstate above which is used above antenna?
Not superstate type of things. If so, something is required for shaping the beam shape of radiation pattern, or we can say we need to control the radiation shape of the or radiation beam shape of the antenna, then we are using superstrate like parasitic pitch, PCB type or metallic type. That is a separate concept which is related to the antenna. Normally radome just we are putting as a protection of the antenna, which can affect the performance of your basic parameter or your gain. So reason being, if my inner structure, if my customer requirement is 18 dBi gain, or 17 dBi gain, then I need to make my antenna 18 dBi or 18.5 dBi, because if I put the radome in front of that, deteriorate the performance. So especially tuning with the radome is a bit difficult. Instead, we need to take little bit margin while making the inner structure. So it's not a superstrate, it's not a metallic patch for beam shaping, it's a radome for protection of your inner structure.
So, material, you have told the material about the ASA PC. So, what
Yes.
are the type of materials in this ASA PC?
Basically, if you cut the cross section of this radome, there is two layer. You can easily see one is a little bit lighter color, like white color layer, and inside that gray color. So outside is material is ASA, which is weatherproof, or we can say the solar radiations or heat that can survive easily. Inside material PC will give the strength of that material, because ASA is a costly material, and PC we can use normal plastic. So reason being, weight point of view, cost point of view, we need to take care of these things.
Is it a fiberglass or carbon fiber type material, sir?
It's a, you already mentioned ASA PC means polycarbonate.
Is it polycarbonate?
Yes,
Okay.
with controlled glass impurity, because as you know, the glass content will affect the antenna performance, like our signal performance.
Any other query?
Sir, one more last question, sir.
Yeah, please.
Suppose the radome is fitted in the high-speed aircraft.
Yes.
So will it withstand that impact? What he has told, around 240 kilometer per hour speed, it can withstand. But if it is a high-speed aircraft, when the radome,
It depends upon two things. One is your mounting, because if you put the antenna with the good plastic material on the aircraft, that mounting, as I mentioned, clamp, the shocks and vibration will come in antenna through the clamp. So that mounting a bracket or clamp, that is we need more strong that can survive the in that much of shocks and vibration. Yes, material point of view, FRP glass is the hardened material that we can use for the, if whenever required the hard material, we can use FRP material. ASA PC is little bit PVC, ASA PC little bit soft material. So it depends upon the requirement. We need to do the testing of the plastic with this actually requirement. Then only we can decide which plastic will be. Normally, if the condition is problematic or some critical condition, definitely we need to go some hard plastic with the good mounting. This mounting will here I mentioned in my presentation, this is the mounting that is different with the models, varying with the models. So that we need to see how many points we need to connect with the antenna, because this mounting will not affect our antenna performance. As you know, all base station or different antennas, backside we are directional antenna, backside we are using reflectors. So there is no issue with the mountings.
thank you very much, Dr. Ravi. Thank you very much.
Any other query? Really, it was a very wonderful lecture, and I believe that most of the participants are from academic institution, and Dr. Ravi is from the, earlier he was with the academic institution, now he is with the industry and in a very high profile position and doing a research work of practical utility, and his products, developed products, are being utilized at commercial level, not only at nationally and internationally level. So I request to, if there is no further query, I request to Dr. Pooja Sahu, please propose vote of thanks. Dr. Pooja Sahu.
Thank you, sir, for providing me such opportunity Really, it's a great pleasure to us listening to the sir. Very informative aspects we have seen today and learned about the radom selections, testing, parameters, measurements, and affecting parameters, etc. Really, thank you, sir. And I also thank you to all the participants to join here and make this session wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Sir, one thing more, sir. One question to Dr. Ravi. I requested you, sir, for giving some name of particular flexible material for this antenna, conformal antenna. So, if you give some flexible material, especially flexible dielectric, so it will be very good for me.
Actually, I have already replied few months back to you. We are not using any flexible type of PCBs. Yes, I have some source in the Manesar Gurgaon. So that company name I will share through our like WhatsApp group.
Right, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
So, if there is no further query, thank you very much for attending this interesting lecture. Probably, Dr. Ravi, with time we shall have more interesting lectures from you. So, thank you very much, everybody. And I'm closing the meeting. Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Ravi.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank
Thank
you,
you.
sir.